Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. My name is Tiana Little. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm currently a second year student here at Iowa State University. My major is civil engineering with a secondary major in Spanish. I'm representing the club called Engineers Without Borders, which is a nonprofit group that helps out a community in Africa, in Ghana, called ULO. What we do is put in engineering projects that help the community meet their basic needs. Today I will be teaching you all about watersheds. We will be doing this through a hands-on activity, and the hands-on activity requires materials of 2 sheets of paper, water-soluble pens including the color green, yellow, red, orange, and blue, clear tape, a spray bottle, a pen or thin permanent marker, and some paper towels. So I will start off with teaching you a little bit more about watersheds. Most people can tell you what town they live in, but hardly anybody can tell you what watershed they live in. In fact, few people can explain what a watershed is. Yet, if a watershed disappeared tomorrow, everyone would notice. There are many ways to describe a watershed. A watershed is the crucial dividing point or backbone for rivers and streams. All of the water flowing down from the mountain onto an area is considered your watershed. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, watersheds are nature's boundaries. They are the areas that drain into water bodies such as lakes, rivers, wetlands, streams, and the surrounding landscape. A watershed can also be described as a geographical area in which water, solids, sediments, and dissolved materials flow to a common outlet. If a watershed changed, you might literally be up a creek. Life can't survive without water, and life doesn't thrive without a healthy watershed. Take some time to meet a watershed up close, and we will be doing this through our activity. The first step is to make about a 5 centimeter square in the middle of the first piece of paper. Next, we will be making a mountain. To do so, we will loosely crumple the second sheet of paper so it's about the size of a grapefruit. Next, we will be opening the crumpled paper, then taping it down to the flat base with the edges inside the border. So we'll be using the 4 corners of the crumpled piece of paper and taping that onto the 4 corners of the border that we drew earlier. This will encourage the paper to form peaks and valleys for our mountain. So this is what your mountain should look like. Everyone's mountain will look a little bit different, but as long as we all have the general idea, it will all work out in the end. Now that you have made your mountain, consider the rivers. Starting at the highest peak, predict how water will flow down to the slopes. And you can take a little bit of time to think about this, and once you have finalized it, you can use the blue pen to draw where you think the river will flow. Once you have done that, count how many rivers you have on your model and write it down. Next, place the watershed on your paper towel and we will be testing our river predictions. To do this, we will be using our spray bottles to spray water onto the mountains as if it is getting rained on. Spray the model so ink just begins to flow into pools. Describe how the water flows. How many watersheds can you count on your model? As a hint, the number of watersheds is the total land area that contributes water to a river or lake. Next, with a pen, trace the outline of one watershed on the model. Call it home. Then you should find the outline of your home base that you've identified, and then I will teach you a little bit more about the different types of materials that might flow into your watershed. The first one is agricultural runoff. Agricultural runoff may contain fertilizers and animal manure. When these substances are added to water, they can cause plants and algae to grow like crazy. Under warm conditions, the rapid breakdown of dead algae uses up oxygen in the water, which eventually kills the fish. Color some area of your watershed green to represent farms. Next is soil. Bulldozers loosen soil, which causes the soil to run into streams. Muddy water prevents light from reaching plants and algae. With less light, the plants and algae produce less oxygen. Lack of oxygen can choke and kill the fish. Pick a site on your watershed for some new houses. Color that area yellow. Next, toxic chemicals can affect your watershed. Companies in the United States legally dump more than 500 million pounds of toxic chemicals onto our water system every year. That's not counting the illegal dumping. Draw a red factory on one of your rivers using the red colored pen. Next, debris from streets and highways, animal waste, lawn fertilizers, garden pesticides, and detergents are a few things that run into the urban and suburban areas. Choose the orange color to indicate an area with a town. What do you predict will happen in your watershed when it rains? Next, make it rain once again using your spray bottles. Spray it onto your watershed and observe what happens. Describe what you see. Notice how all of the colors flow into the water and get mixed all around. As a group, make a list of the kinds of things you washed down at the drain at home today or yesterday. All of these things impact the watershed as they eventually get flown down into the stream of water to the watershed. Today, we looked at a few different types of objects and materials that go into watersheds, but watersheds have a vast variety of materials and different types of objects that get flown into them on a daily basis. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the activity and learned a little bit more about watersheds. Thank you.